Hey student, it's the last Friday of 2019. And if you studied hard this year and feel a little bit demotivated and like giving up, watch this video because I have a special message for you tonight. Hey friends, Teacher Briggs here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. First of all, thank you so much for joining me on a Friday night. Yeah! And if it's your first time here, consider subscribing because from Monday to Friday, I post all kinds of English lessons, grammar, vocabulary, idioms, listening and reading tips, study tips, speaking tips, because I want to make sure that you become a better English speaker, okay? Now, last Friday of 2019. I'm so excited that it's Friday. It's the last Friday. 2019 is almost over, and it's such a good time of the year to really think of everything we have been doing, of our actions, decisions, results, achievements, and failures, because we fail. Do you know the word fail? Well, fail is when you don't do something well, is when you try but you can't get it. Okay, so you fail. All right. So if you're thinking of giving up, and why did I decide to make this video tonight, last Friday of the year? I was studying. Well, let me tell you, I'm studying Italian. Okay, I hadn't told anybody yet, but I'm studying Italian. And this week I was pretty lazy. And well, why was I lazy? Because I was doing some difficult exercises that were kind of difficult. Man. And for a moment I was like, oh, okay, so that's probably what not everybody, but some of my followers and subscribers and people who follow my work, that's probably what they feel. At first I was upset because I wasn't able to understand what I was doing, and I was starting to get frustrated. Now, what I felt was just in a week, but imagine people that have been feeling this way all year. Every month they have frustrations and they feel like they're failing. At some point, if these people don't have the appropriate guidance, many will consider giving up. Okay? Now, failure is something that many people are afraid of. What is to fail? Is when you don't achieve something, is when you are not able to do something. And I want to remind you of your why. Whenever I feel like giving up, whenever I feel like things are not working, whenever I feel like I'm not making progress, I remind myself of why I started to do what I'm doing. Even though I'm not doing a good job, even though I'm making mistakes, or even though I'm not making progress, I always remind myself of why I started to do that in the first place. As soon as I remind myself of why, I like to think of what I am going to feel when I achieve what I want, when I get the results I'm looking for, when I finally achieve the goal, the dream that I'm chasing, that I'm looking for. This is a much better attitude than simply being upset and frustrated every time you fail. And the truth is that many English learners who fail, who face challenges and difficulties in their journey, end up quitting or letting go for some time, especially at the beginning of December, because of the holidays, the parties, the gatherings, the trips. Many English learners who are already feeling a little, stuck and not so good about their English, they stop, they quit, they let go. Now, I'm not saying that you should have studied every day this month. I didn't. But I did anyways. I studied a little. And every time I faced some difficulty, I reminded myself of why I was studying. And you know what really encourages me to keep going are people who had similar problems. Because maybe you're thinking, oh, but I'm studying English. What does this have to do with Jim Carrey or Oprah? These people had very difficult lives and they failed many times. But what I like about all these people is that they kept going. They kept trying and they found ways to motivate themselves, and they always remembered their why. Okay. Jim Carrey, I think he failed many times to get parts for movies and stand up comedy shows, but he kept going. And I'm not sure I remember the full story, but I remember that he wrote himself a fake check. Okay. He wrote a check of $10 million. He didn't have the money at the time he wrote the fake check. Okay. So um he wrote the check of $10 million, and sometime later, and I mean later, like a year or two, I don't remember the exact time, he got that amount of money. This wouldn't have happened if he hadn't persisted, because he got many no's before he got a yes. Oprah had a very, very difficult life. She was very poor. She was, she lost a child, and today she's a billionaire. Now, of course, I'm making her life story very short, but what I am trying to tell you is these people have something in common. They remember their why, and they stop at nothing to get what they want, what they desire, and to fulfill their purpose in life. Thomas Edison, he had to fail 10,000 times before he could make a viable electric light bulb. Now, there's a lot in the story, there's a lot of information that I'm not telling you here. It's not the purpose. But imagine a guy like him. Imagine if he had quit. Probably someone else would have invented the light bulb, but not Thomas. He didn't give up. And I imagine that after trying for 10,000 times, people would feel like, you're so stupid. Why are you doing this? Now, if we connect this to English, many people would think, why are you still trying? Your English is not good. Even friends, family, are you sure you're going to try this? Like, really? I don't think you can do it. Maybe you should try something else, Maybe spend your money and your effort doing something else. English is too difficult. You don't need English to travel. Yesterday I was watching a Brazilian movie. For my Brazilian students, Minha Mãe é uma Peça. Good movie. It's the name of the movie, okay, guys. And there is a moment when they are, I think, in Hollywood. And they can't speak English. Of course, there's a lot of comedy in this movie, okay? They cannot speak English, and what happens? They end up leaving the restaurant because they can't talk to the waiter and ask for what they want. Now, in real life, this will never happen. If you speak zero English, you can still go to a restaurant and ask for the food you want. Okay, as long as you have fingers, the menu, you can point and ask for it. But think about it, it's not just about traveling. English is much more than that. It's about enjoying the experience. So you can travel with very little to little to nothing, okay? Next to nothing when it comes to traveling. But it's the pleasure. It's the experience. It's feeling that you can do it. It's feeling successful about your ability to speak English. That's much more important because believe me, you can travel anywhere you want, you know, and not without English, to be very honest. But remember your why. Someone is saying here that it's you need to prioritize your goals, and I agree. What are your goals? And this is really connected to your why. Okay, some people will define their reason as a goal. Oh, I want to become an independent speaker. I remember I had a client in I think Saudi Arabia, and one of his goals was to be able to use his profession to help other people in his country and to help other with other discoveries, and for that he needed English. So you see what a strong goal. Once you define your goal, no matter how bad or how easy or how difficult your journey is, you keep going, because all of these people who have failed, they remembered their why, they remembered their goal, why they wanted to do what they wanted. Michael Jordan, wonderful basketball player, he says this, quote unquote, I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. On 26 occasions, I have been entrusted to take the game winning shot and I missed. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. So he understands that because he fails, he succeeds. So these two things, they walk together. They are side by side, success and failure. Because for you to enjoy your success, you will fail a few times. It's necessary, you know. Dr. Seuss, I don't know if you know him. He's famous, a famous writer for like children's books, and he was rejected by 27 different publishers. Now imagine being rejected by 27 different publishers, 27 different people. Today he's huge. He's known everywhere. He's famous, but not just because he's famous, but his work is very good. His work is solid. Imagine if he had quit, if he had given up. Now, was it difficult? Well, hell yeah, very difficult. I can't imagine how difficult his life was before his success finally came. And what I like to tell you guys is focus on the process. Next year, 2020, will be a different year. And I will be here with you guys on YouTube. I'll be making videos from Monday to Friday to help you guys, to guide you. When I started my YouTube channel 4 years ago, on the first year, I got 5,500 subscribers and very few views. Many friends, not very close friends, well, many close friends too, but I think I put the wrong word here. Many acquaintances. Some people around me believed that it was just a hobby, that I was doing YouTube to have a good time, to have fun. Now, when I learned about people that achieve, well, another thing that is important, when I learned about some people who achieved 100,000 subscribers like very quickly, like in months, 2, 3 months, at first I compared myself and I felt bad about it. But after some time, I decided to focus on my process and do my part. And what I like to tell my students is that success likes that. Success likes when you do your part, because then you let success do its part. So success comes to those people who do their parts, and this will come to you. And I see that many people are saying, I won't give up. The majority of people learn English for work, not even. It's just not true. Night days, it's not true at all. I think last year I had so many clients who wanted English simply because they wanted to speak, because they wanted to travel, because they wanted to enjoy life. I had a student who wanted to study English because he wanted to be a better photographer and travel around the world. So that's not true. I know I have many clients who study English not because of work. Again, this is your story. If it's true for you, good for you. But if it's not, then we need to take into consideration that there are what? 8 billion, nearly 8 billion people in the world, and not everybody is just concerned about work. Many people want to study English and speak English just because they want to feel better, just because they want to feel more independent when they travel, when they communicate with other people. I've had students who wanted to learn English because they wanted to make friends. They wanted to travel and make new friends, and not just travel, but online, make new friends and get to know people from other countries. I've had some people who love history and they wanted to learn more about history. So it's not just about work, just as it's not just about inventions, okay, about creating something. Your goal is important because it's important for you, okay? When I learned English, I didn't know that it was because of work. My first goal when I learned English was because I wanted to see the world. I wanted to understand the songs that I listened to. That was important for me at the time. And goals change all the time. Goals change depending on where you are in your life. I had another student who didn't need English for her work. She just wanted to be more independent because she traveled a lot with her husband and she felt very insecure when her husband wasn't around. So she wanted to feel better when she traveled so that she could help herself and her kids. So you see, it's not just work. And that's the message that I want to send here. Discover your goal, discover why you're studying, and focus on that. And every time you feel like things are not going the way you want, focus on remembering why you chose, why you decided to learn. Because I know sometimes the journey gets a little hard. Sometimes we feel a little discouraged. Sometimes we feel like things are not going the way we want them to go. But at this moment, You may not know it, but you're closer than you think to success. But you have to stay true to your goal, to your purpose. Okay? Someone says, Fabiano says, I want to learn English because I really like it. It makes me feel better. So you see, it's about feelings, it's about connections. And I'm learning Italian not because I want to work with Italian, I want to travel, I want to enjoy the language. I want to live in Italian for a few months, not forever, for like 3, 6 months. And I want to get to see the culture and enjoy and watch Italian movies and learn more about Italian culture, but I don't need it. It's just because it's something that I want, that it makes me feel good. So my purpose is to connect to it through the language, okay? Other than that, my friends, I hope that you can take this message, take what's good, take what is going to help you stay motivated for next year. Make your plans. In January, I'm going to be making a video talking about making plans for 2020, setting English goals, because you should always have goals, okay? Anyways, I want you to analyze 2019 and come here in the comments and tell me what you can do differently next year. So consider all the things you have done this year, all the exercises, all the practices. Consider your failures as well. It happens, guys. I failed many times this year. This year, I cannot. If I start telling you my failures, there will be many, but there will be a lot of achievements too. So consider everything that you've done this year and tell me here in the comments what you believe you can do differently next year, because next year is coming and we need to stay focused, okay? Other than that, my friends, have a lovely day or a lovely night, and I will see you on Monday for another English lesson. Bye bye.